And he spent the entire time complaining about the cost of his divorce. And the Chateaubriand, as it happens.
I don't know what that is, said Lizzy.
Never mind, darling, said Penny patronisingly.
Don't think about the gun, thought Lizzy.
What is it then?
Penny sniffed. So, what have you been doing? Taking cocktails at the Ritz? Dancing under umbrellas in the rain? Ice skating in Central Park?
Night bus.
Lizzy winced in sympathy. Who'd you get?
1 bung-eye, 3 general lunatics, and 1 wanker.
Only 1 wanker on a night bus? That sounds amazing. There's usually hordes of them putting traffic cones on their heads.
No, just 1 literal wanker. 1 man having a wank. There were 35 with traffic cones on their heads.
Lizzy tutted.
And I had to change at Seven Sisters.
7 Sisters is far too dangerous for girls. What kind of man is he?
Not one who sends a nice girl home in a cab.
What about a slightly sluttish girl?
Shut up.
Get out of my bedroom, then. Penny heaved a big sigh.
Oh, it's so boring.
Going to the Ritz for cocktails and out to fancy dinner? Well, it does sound boring. Mum and I watched Property Ladder and ate potato waffles.
I had to hear about his terrible divorce and how that witch kept the house and how he's terrified of gold diggers getting hold of what's left of his money. And did I mind getting my half of the bill?
Lizzy flinched. This was not something she knew from previous vicarious evenings that could be tolerated. Although Penny's minimum wage waitress job was supposedly supplemented by tips, in reality her attitude, and the fact that a lot of men tried to ask her out, failed and got aggressive, made the tip-giving side of things fairly erratic.
Oh my God, what did you do?
Penny glanced in the mirror above the cheap dresser crammed in the corner of the tiny room. Despite the hour, Lizzy noticed, she still looked wonderful. Her makeup had dribbled down under her eyes, but she looked sexy and a bit dangerous, not like Lizzy would, fat and a bit dirty.
Legged it out the bathroom window.
You didn't.
No, of course I didn't, you idiot.
She paused.
I told him I'd forgotten me purse.
Well, that's all right, then.
I'd have legged it out the bathroom window next, though.
Penny rubbed her pretty face blearily.
Anyway, it went a bit downhill after that.
Lizzy tried to smile sympathetically. She was going to have to listen anyway, but this wasn't exactly the first time she'd been woken up in the early hours. Penny was a cad magnet, but as she pointed out, none too kindly, she was the only one with a hope in hell of getting them out of this shithole.
Go to bed, said Lizzy. I mean, I didn't know the bloody brandy was 100 quid a glass, did I?
No, said Lizzy calmly.
I'm not the one saying, hey, how's about a brandy, whilst eyeing up me fishnets?
She glanced down. There was a huge ladder up the left leg.
Shit.
Say it's punk.
How's about a brandy? Chilled? You know, me ex-wife was really chilly in bed. Makes a man feel, you know, so lonely.
Lonely and poor.
Poor my arse, said Penny dramatically. Me $3.99 rip tights cause me a lot more pain than spending bloody £600 on bloody brandy does him.
£600, said Lizzy. How on earth could people do something like that? Lizzy lived as she ate, hand to mouth.
Should have read the menu, the dick, instead of yelping, 2 glasses of your finest brandy, over and over again. No wonder the waiter was smiling.
Did he tip?
Did he fuck? They were still screaming at each other when I ran out the door.
Finish the water, said Lizzy. It might not get Penny to work on time, but it might get her to work. Penny took a long slug.
Ah, she said, like finest brandy on me lips.
You're a bad, bad girl, said Lizzy. Go to bed, or I'm telling Mum. £600 kept running through Lizzie's head the next morning as she made her way to the bus stop. £600. It was unbelievable. Who did spend money like that? Even by accident. Penny was still in bed. She didn't start her job as Brandford's most glamorous and also grumpiest waitress until later. Non-identical twins can have a head start on the knowledge, usually learned by children through a procession of tedious and time-consuming